Hello and welcome back to the Long Island Railroad Montauk branch. Today I will be starting another switching session that will probably stretch to 3 or 4 videos. We will start here in the yard by pulling some cars and travel around the layout, dropping off and picking up cars as usual. With all the changes I've made to the layout recently, adding and deleting some industries, I've had to update my program that generates my switch lists. This will be the first run with the new changes. Since I was in a programming mood, I also updated the switch list so that it automatically puts the industries in the correct order, something I've had to do by hand until now. So here's the switch list. We have 4 cars to assemble from Bliss Yard, and 1 car from Yard A waiting on the siding. We also have 5 cars to pick up from various industries around the layout. Feel free to pause the video if you want to study the list for a moment. These are the 4 cars we have to get: this Chicago and Eastern Illinois boxcar, this Great Northern Hopper, this Great Northern Gondola, and this Soo Line boxcar. Over on the siding is a Central Railroad of New Jersey boxcar, otherwise known as the Jersey Central. Power for today is this Atlas Alco RS1 in the World's Fair paint scheme. It's called that because it was done to modernize the paint scheme prior to the 1964 World's Fair. If you took the train to the fair, you rode on the LIRR. As a side note, the fair was held in the exact same place as the 3940 World's Fair. And if you've seen Men in Black, the 2 spaceships that are up on towers are at the site of the World's Fair. Anyway, this engine has a Soundtrack Tsunami 2 decoder and a TCS KA1 Keep Alive. At least I think it's a KA1. It's the smallest one they make. It also has an iPhone speaker, which actually works very well. I think it's an iPhone 5 speaker, but I can't remember for sure. So to sort all the cars, I've decided I'm going to pull all the cars from track 3 here, and then pull all the cars from track 2, and put the train on track 3 and the unneeded cars back on track 2. And here I just realized that I should have left the Great Northern Hopper on track 3. So the 3 unneeded cars are deposited on track 2. And the C&DI car is there on the engine and ready to be backed onto the rest of the train. The cars on track 1 are all awaiting transfer back to Greenville Yard on the car float. So the train is made up. It's time to charge up the airlines and signal our way out of here. The Great Northern Gondola is brand new and unweathered. It is a Bachmann model, so it's a bit low on detail, but it's very well weighted, so I don't have to worry about an unloaded gondola somehow derailing. Not with this car. So what's going on here is the train has to pull forward in order to clear the switch that leads to the yard so that it can back onto the car that's waiting on the siding on the other side of the switch. Waiting at the signal, and now we've received permission to proceed out onto the main and make our first drop-off and pickup. Our first task will be to drop off that gondola full of steel coils at Stoll Metal, and we'll also be picking up the Hooker hopper in the background there. dropping off both of the cars behind the gondola and leaving them on the main. Before we can proceed, we have to get the blue flag lowered in front of the hoppers, which might very well be connected to hoses that we don't want to pull out of their sockets. So here we will put the gondola on the siding and then go back and get the NYC hopper and put it on the siding and then shove them both back into where they belong. The positioning of the hoppers at Allied Extruders is spot specific because there are two different types of plastic pellets, and this particular hopper needs to be positioned forward because it's carrying the plastic pellets that go through that pipeline into the proper storage tank. So that does it for switching the Blissville siding. Now we just need to pull off the siding and attach to the train and continue on to our next stop. So that does it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode where we switch the next industry or two, however many it takes to make a reasonably lengthed video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Just thought I'd show you how I made my coiled steel load. It's basically this thick tin foil that I cut up into strips and wound up really, really tight. And it was a pain, but it looks pretty good.